the cat.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Hi guys.
Welcome to Variable Play News. And we are live from the Variable Play host's home reporting. And with me today is
Me,
me.
Ronan,
Yes, and
delivering
it's
you
just
news.
it's just the two of us because our other newscaster mate Jake is sick right now. So Jake, get well. We are
Get
praying
better.
for
Get
you,
better.
and we hope that you recover quickly. We recover soon. So
Okay.
it's just the two of us, but we're still gonna bring you the news, right, Ron?
Yes, we will.
All
News
right.
that may change
So
our world. Okay.
yeah, we chased this for the last 2 weeks, and now we will
Mm-hmm.
be reporting it to you guys. All right. So
Great.
let's start.
Okay.
Without further ado, here we go with the first news for the headlines. Headlines.
Board game headlines, guys.
Here we go. A
Okay.
woman found a board game piece stuck in her nose after 37 years.
Wow.
After 37
37
years.
years.
Yes,
All
and
right.
you know what happened? How she found out about this one? She
All right.
was having a swab for the COVID swab, and it got pushed
Okay.
in her nose. And for all this
Okay. Okay.
time, she couldn't. The doctors cannot find it because it was already part of her nose. That's how the body treated it. It was so foreign that after 37 years, it became part of her nose. And every time she would do a scan, it wouldn't appear because it now has scar tissue in it or stuff like that. So when she got
Okay.
swabbed with the COVID thing, the one that you go into the nose with,
Yes. Yes.
it got it got hit and it got pushed further, and she had this um, pain that it's uncontrollable, it's intolerable pain that she had, and she had to have it checked. And when she had it checked, they found out that there was a piece stuck in her nose for 37 years.
I assume
you,
negative. I assume negative yung result ng, ng swab test niya.
you know, do you know
False
why? Do you know
positive, right?
do you know how, do you know why she had it stuck up her nose? It's because when she was younger, she was afraid that her mom will get mad at her, and she didn't tell her
For
siblings
playing a board
because
game.
they're gonna get mad because the piece got lost. So she just kept it to herself. So that's her
Alright.
first headline. That's how you wake up the news, right? That's how you start the news.
Yeah. Someone. Okay.
All right. Now we're gonna go to
Next.
our next headline. And our next headline is Tavern at the Crossroads at Cubao Expo, I think, if I'm not
Nice.
mistaken.
Yeah, Cubao X, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
has finally closed. And this is sad because it's like one of the board game cafes closed again. And we have few remaining bastions,
Yeah.
and then it closed, and no more.
Yeah, it's
I don't know any other cafes that are on. I mean, that are still operating. Do you know any? Oh, besides Ludo, right? Ludo's the only one remaining.
I think so. I think they're still operating at their QC
Mm,
branch. But yes,
yeah.
this is sad news because I think one of the pioneers is Tavern. Most especially east side, right? The Rizal area, the QC eastern side. Yeah. So definitely this is another effect of the COVID, I assume, right? So
Yeah. So
yeah.
that
So
was what
yes.
happened, and it was really sad, right? So
Mhm.
we hope that they can open again soon, sometime, maybe after the
Yeah.
pandemic, they could recover. And I know a
Uh,
lot of people who play Arkham Horror LCG is from this group. They play here, most of them do.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we hope to
Okay.
see Tavern rise up again soon. All right. Next on the news headlines. We have a few headlines today. And from a sad news, we're going to go into something that's really good and something that is
Mm-hmm.
successful. Arc RPG has been successfully funded. We had the
Mm.
author guest in our show, and
Mm.
I mean in open game night, and that was like 2 weeks into her campaign, and she had this Kickstarter campaign pegged for $7,000. It was funded in
Wow, that's
23 minutes. That's how quick it
nice.
was funded. And it ended with 2,272 backers and a total of $89,563. That's how much
Wow.
she made. I'm not good at math, but that percentage is a
There's a lot.
lot. I
That's
don't know how
really
to
a lot.
math this, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
she's
And
Filipina.
it's good. Mm,
Yeah, and it
that's
looks
good.
good that they are being successful, and we have that capability to do great things, especially in the board gaming world. And Arc is definitely
Yep.
one of those shining examples that we can look at. And it's really an inspiration for us.
Mm-hmm.
Good job on that one.
So it's possible for us to bring out content and be successful in the international stage. That's nice.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
right. I want to know if people really want to support local. I'm curious how many Filipinos ordered this or supported this one.
Out of the
Because
2,000 backers.
yeah, out of the
Yeah,
2,000, that
exactly.
would be a good study, right? Because she's
Mm-hmm.
Filipina. Did we support her, right? So let's see, let's see
That's good news.
if other people will come up with new ideas, and especially from the Philippines, and push it out there in the world. All
So
right,
is it done?
next.
The
It's done.
the
The
fund.
campaign's done. I think
Ah,
last week it was done last
okay.
week. But I think you
All
can
right.
still order. I don't know how, but
Right.
I think you still can. Maybe you can visit her Kickstarter page, Arc
Mm-hmm.
uh, Doom, Arc Doom. You can search for that one. All right,
Mm-hmm.
this one's gonna be reported by Ron.
Yeah, so that would be me. So there's a Rogue book contest. So Rogue is a little background. It's a digital game. It's very similar to Slay the Spire, wherein it's an RPG deck builder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Richard Garfield is having I think, contest for card design. So I think there's four you need to make up and create four new card designs
Yeah, for
for
the
the
game.
game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. And I think refresh. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the price is a magic card, correct?
Yes,
Or
it's the Black Lotus. it's
nice.
it's a grade 9. They have this grading system,
Yeah.
right? So
Yep.
it's
Mm-hmm.
10 is the
Mm-hmm.
perfect one. It's a grade 9, and it says here it's worth over 20,000 US dollars
Dollars.
if you
Wow.
win,
Yeah.
right? So
So
I think
guys,
if a Filipino
there's not
can win
you
this.
have, you have nothing to lose. Just try and design a card that works in the game,
Right.
right? Just yeah, submit it. Um,
Who knows? Maybe you can win four new cards for the game, 20,000 US
exactly.
dollars. Why not? What's there to lose? We
Right.
have the capability.
Even
We are talented. Maybe we can win this. Then we can report it on this news.
yes.
Right?
Yeah. So yeah. Regardless of whether you win or not, it's the experience of having entered
Right.
a contest like
Mm.
this, right? Yeah.
Right, right. All right. Thank you for that, Ron. And the next article of news is for our headlines. We can't find a picture of
Mm.
that and even the logos. But Amazon and Asmodee are fighting counterfeiters.
Mm. Okay.
People, you know what they're suing this two 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 people. No, two. They're saying
Company.
they're suing Crazy Leaf and Gig Trading Inc. because they
Mm.
counterfeited Dixit Daydreams and Dixit Revelations. Well, of course, we know there
Ah.
are a lot of other counterfeit games that are being counterfeited. Wait, sorry. There are other counterfeited games out there in the
Mhm.
market. And I think this is a good step because now there is a way to limit the counterfeits or actually stop the counterfeits of
Yeah.
board games
And it's
because we
good
see
that
it everywhere.
that a big company is actually doing something
Yes,
for these counterfeits.
yes.
So it's nice
And
that they're actually doing something physical, something concrete versus these companies that release this counterfeit game.
mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct. I think Stronghold did this. They went hard after people who are counterfeiting Terraforming Mars. That's why
Yeah.
Terraforming Mars had
Mm.
been stopped being counterfeited because they really were aggressive in finding out who those people are. Na talagang hinanap nila. So
Yeah.
I think if this trend continues, then maybe we're gonna see less and less counterfeit games, and that is good.
Mm-hmm.
At more of the designers, more of the publishers, more of the companies will actually get their money's worth from all the things that
Mm-hmm.
from all the time that they spent thinking about the game, play testing about the game, producing the game.
Yeah. All
That's
that
good. So
effort just to
all that
release a
effort,
game, definitely
right?
from the artists, from the
We hope
brainchild.
they win this. Looking forward to this one.
Definitely.
All right.
Right.
Next, last of
For
our
next news.
headlines. Here we go.
Yeah. So Dice Tower Awards have been concluded, right? So that I think that's for 2020, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but all the results are in, and the winners have been announced by Dice Tower.
Yes,
And
they have.
for a few rundown of the games that won, Game of the Year is actually won by The Crew, The Quest for Planet Nine.
Yes, it's
Um,
a
I
small
personally
game.
haven't, yeah, I personally haven't played this. I know it comes in a small box.
Yes.
Congrats to Cosmos.
Yes.
So yeah, because when I hear about Cosmos, most of the games that come into mind are really like either older games, right? But I'm glad that they were able to produce such a game.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's able to win Game of the Year. So
They went up against favorites Arnak
yeah,
and Dune Imperium and they won.
and that's great. Right?
Mm. And if you
So
wanna see more about this, and we're gonna be discussing this
mhm.
tomorrow at the Dice Tower Awards. We'll be discussing it tomorrow at Open Game Night with Ron,
Okay,
Javi, and myself. So if you wanna join us tomorrow, 9:30, we'll be discussing the Dice Tower Awards. So we hope to
correct.
see you there. All right. So
All
those are
right,
our
great.
headlines. Right now, we're gonna be going to the other board game news. So those were the news that deserve the headline spot. And right now, we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna be sharing with you other board gaming news that we found for the last 2 weeks, and we're gonna bring it to you because that's what we do
Mm-hmm.
here. All right. The first one is this. Oops.
What's that?
There you go.
Yes, the
There you go.
hotness right now.
It's a
Hotness.
hotness right now. So it's
Mm-hmm.
Arnak, The Lost Ruins of Arnak, Ron's favorite game, will have its first expansion. And it's going to be called Expedition Leaders. I think there's going to be new uh, asymmetrical leaders that will be given to
Mm-hmm.
each
Mm-hmm.
player so that you're going to have new ways to play the game. New artifacts. I think there's gonna be a new board or a new research track. I don't know how they're gonna do
Okay.
it, but that's something that we can look forward to. If you're a fan of the Lost Ruins of Arnak, put this on your radar. The Lost
Yeah,
Ruins
definitely.
Expedition Leaders. So,
Yeah, if you already like,
Ron's favorite game.
mhm. No. Okay.
All right.
So
So
that is
Lost
not my
Ruins.
favorite.
Okay. The
But
next
definitely
one.
it'll make Lost Ruins of Arnak more interesting in
Yeah.
bringing
If you
in
played it
bringing.
so much and you need a new variation to it or a new way to play it, then go for the
Mhm.
expansion. Next is
Yeah.
that Catan and Ticket to Ride will be releasing new logic puzzle games. So it looks something like
Mm.
this where you're trying to puzzle out things. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I know this. They were discussing that this might be a centerpiece for your table or a conversation starter for your dining table or your sala table. You can play with your guests, and it's that. I think that's the target for this one. It's a logic puzzle where you're gonna be connecting or doing a pattern that you need to do, of course, with certain rules on how you're gonna place your tiles. So that's Catan and Ticket to Ride logic puzzles. And I'm sure a lot
Mhm.
of the solo gamers from our groups will fall in love with this game. I hope
Yeah.
they're gonna be
It
falling in love with
it
this game.
certainly brings in another take, another approach to the well-loved titles, right? So Catan and
The
Counterfeiters.
evergreens, the classics.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna have a new breath of life
Mm-hmm.
in them. All right, the next one that we have is a new game.
Yeah. Hunger by Richard Garfield, right? So the Hunger is
Magic
going to be
Creator.
released by Renegade Games. So the Hunger is another deck builder. Um, you play as vampires, and your goal is to earn as many victory points before the end of the game. So there's a
For the end of
definite
the night,
number of,
right?
yeah. So before the sun rises, basically.
Yes.
So the game has a set number of rounds wherein your aim is to collect as many victory points. And you collect victory points by eating basically some humans or recruiting them into your coven or something like that. But yes,
might
it's still a victory point goal.
it might be gruesome, but the art looks nice, so maybe it
Yeah,
wouldn't be that
definitely,
gruesome.
definitely. Yes,
So
yes. But this is this in terms of deck building. So you gain these new cards, which is called villagers. Basically, they give you outright benefits, but it kind of um, clogs up your deck. So there's the mechanic, and then you can get rid of these villagers in a specific kind of way as well. That earns
you,
you victory points. So
you
yun.
have to eat
So
them.
yeah.
All right, cool.
So that's
But
the
it's another
new
deck builder,
game
right?
by Richard Garfield. Yes, it's a
Mm.
deck builder. So
Something to
I'm
look
waiting for
forward
that.
to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
Definitely.
those
The
people who
Hunger
grew up with magic, it's
by
from the
Richard
Magic
Garfield.
Creator. All right,
Yes,
next
sir.
news. Is this the next news? Yes, I think so. The
Wow,
next
Mexico.
news is we got Machikoro 2. So, are you a
Mm-hmm.
fan of Machikoro?
I am. It's one of the first. How do you call this? Dice rolling games
Yeah,
that is
where you
basically
can
luck
arrange
based.
things, right?
Yeah. Mm.
You
Which is, I
arrange
believe, is
things.
the spiritual ancestor of space base. I just looked at my board games. Yeah, it's very similar to what space base brings, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe Magikaro is one of those games evergreens that can be part of your collection. So
I
yes,
hope this is
excited
not
about
just a.
Magikaro.
I hope this is
Yes,
just not a reskin. I hope this is
yeah.
or just mash up of old rules and just trying to upgrade it slowly,
Mm.
but maybe something new from Machikoro. Because what happened with Machikoro was that it had a lot of expansions. Maybe it added
Expansions,
bloat, and not all of them got played.
mm,
So I hope it's not
million
gonna be the same
mushroom.
way. I hope they found a way to
Mm.
go around it and fix
Especially
this and
that
make this
they
way
released
better.
Machikoro Legacy. Remember, it's also
Yeah.
Machikoro Legacy. So I hope they learn from whatever mechanics they used from that game
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
from what worked to what did not work.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's right.
looking
That's
forward to
right.
Machikoro 2. So hopefully it adds more to what Machikoro Legacy did to the game. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm pretty excited for this game.
All right. Cool. Machikoro 2. Next.
Oh,
Wow. World of
from Machiko
Warcraft.
from
From
Machikoro 2.
Magikoro to WoW. World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King will partner Blizzard will partner with Z-Man Games and bring the pandemic
Mm.
system into the Wrath of the
Wow.
Lich King World of Warcraft. Okay, so
Literally, wow.
we don't we don't know how this would go, but given that they said it was the pandemic system, you have an
Mm-hmm.
idea on how this works. And trivia,
Yeah.
this is the first time I think they use the pandemic system term in any game that they add.
Hmm.
Before they would
So
say
now
it's
it's
a
a system,
pandemic
huh?
game. Before they would say, right, it's
Yeah.
a pandemic game. Cthulhu, pandemic is a pandemic game, something like that. But
Call
now
of
they say it's a
Rome.
pandemic
Yeah.
system, right? So I'm curious. Well, I love WoW. I used to play WoW
Mm-hmm.
earlier on with my druid and my paladin, and seeing it in a hopefully this would be also friendly for gateway players so that we could pull
Yeah.
other
Definitely.
people from the WoW geekdom and
Mm-hmm.
introduce
Mm-hmm.
them into board games. That's quick and easy. If it's a pandemic system, if we're thinking about the same thing on how pandemic system works, hopefully we could bring other WoW players into our fold and try out board
Yeah,
games. And the
definitely.
minis
If
might
they're
look good.
implementing the pandemic system, it's gonna be gateway friendly. So hopefully, yeah.
What do you, so Jake was saying not that pandemic system. Hopefully we'll see, but that's what they said, the pandemic system. So no
So,
news yet, but whenever there's an update, we're gonna report it to you about this particular game. And they're getting it from one of the most popular expansions of World of Warcraft, which is Wrath of the Lich King. So hopefully this would look if this looks good, we hope that it also plays that good. All right.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Next,
next, if you're a fan of exit games, well, guess what? There's now an exit game for Lord of the Rings. I mean, exit games, Lord of the Rings. So they're
Lord of
gonna
the
be
Rings.
releasing that. Okay, so
Yeah, so you're
one
simping
one does not simply make
well,
an
that's not
exit game
simply a game.
if it's not from Lord of the
Lord of
Rings.
the Rings, exactly.
Hey, but it's
So
interesting.
there cannot
What
be
can you
an
say about
exit
this, Jake?
game that is not Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
So have they done has exit game done Star Wars? I'm not so
Yeah,
sure about
they did.
so
They did.
definitely. So
I think
they're
it
moving
was the
from
first
IP
three.
to IP. So they're
They're
moving
getting
from IP to IP.
IPs now,
Yeah,
right? They're
exactly.
getting IP.
That's great.
But it
So
how would
it's one angle to basically get the other geekdoms into board games.
I
That's nice.
I don't know. I don't know how this would go. Maybe how are
Mhm.
they gonna exit from Mordor, or how are they
Exactly.
gonna exit from?
Actually we don't know yet how which part of the trilogy they will be um focusing on. It can be a lot of scenarios wherein exit game can actually work
Yeah,
with the Lord of the Rings lore.
or from the in the middle of the battle. How does Frodo exit from all of those things trying to
Exactly,
kill
exactly.
him? Everything chaos happening. Yeah, it, who knows? We'll see. We'll see. So if you're the Lord of the Ring fans and you're an exit game fan, you might want to check this out. And last time we reported a kids game, the Chronicles of Crime kids version, and right now
Mhm.
we are happy to report that there's gonna be a Dungeons and Dragons roll and write for kids, and it's called Dungeon
Wow.
Scrollers Heroes of Under Mountain. So from what
Baka
I've
naman hindi for
gathered,
kids lang.
not
For
really.
kids.
It well, they're targeting kids, but how it plays is it's a roll and write. But the twist that they did is that once you place down your pen, you cannot lift it up. So you're gonna make a straight line. You're gonna follow it. You can go back to the route that you've been to, but as soon as you lift up your pen, then your turn ends. Your whole action ends. So it's interesting to see how they're
Mm.
going to implement that. It's kind of like you're tracing your path going to the main boss. While going to the main boss, you're gathering items, you're gathering treasures, and then fighting the
Mhm.
main boss, all while you're drawing and doing that route. So if you want to get your kids into D&D, maybe in a fun way, in an easy way, an introductory way, maybe you can
Mhm.
try this out, right? Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeon Scrollers, Heroes of Under Mountain.
Of under mountain.
And right now, honestly, this
Okay.
is now gonna be. Oh, go on, Ron.
Go ahead.
Oh, right now, this is our next news. It's gonna be your real favorite game. So
As
I
of
know
the
you're
moment,
interested.
yes.
You're excited to report this news. So
Yeah.
here it is.
All right. So in the same manner as Arnak will be releasing an expansion, Dune Imperium will be also releasing an expansion to its board game, or to its base game called Rise of X. So I
Mm-hmm.
have a friend that can explain to you all the lore. Just let me know if you want it to be explained to you. But yes, so this
How
expansion
long? How
brings
long
in
would it take? How long would the lore explanation take?
as long as our episode ends. Right.
All right,
So
what
basically,
does it
yeah.
bring? Okay, go on.
So Rise of X brings in new um, characters from different houses of
Mm-hmm.
Toon Imperium lore. It will bring in new cards as well, both conflict and market cards, as well as it will implement a new mechanism
Mm-hmm.
wherein the technology of X will be applied to board. There will be a new token wherein it would be moving around the board, very
I heard there
similar
was gonna be
to
a new
the
unit called the Dreadnought.
yes, exactly. That's what I was referring to. The token that will be moving around the board as
Mm-hmm.
well. So yeah, that's on the lore of the X house or X
Mm-hmm.
group of people in the game. So
I
yeah, I'm
I never
excited.
knew the
I'm
lore,
excited. Yeah,
but I know
I'm
a
not
lot of
into. I
people.
did watch. Yeah, I did watch Dune original, but yes,
The 1970s
there.
film?
Yeah, the old one. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So yeah, so this is exciting. It brings in a different mechanism. So we also support this expansion as well as the
Right.
Arnak expansion. So these are great games.
These are really great
Given that
games. I agreed.
they already released expansions for the base game, not within a year. If it's
6 months actually.
six,
That's what they were saying. Within 6 months, they
exactly.
released
So yeah,
expansions.
maybe this is part of their approach into the marketing of this game, but definitely it says a lot about the game
Mm-hmm.
that releases an expansion immediately right after the release of base game. So looking forward to
All
those.
right. Cool.
Right.
Cool. Cool. And finally, for our other news segment, we would like to report this because I know a lot of people are playing Unmatched, and
Yeah.
they
This is volume
teased this
two. We
one
just learned.
already. This is Battle
Mhm.
of Legends Volume 2. So it started with
So
with
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the base game, the first ever release was
who were the
volume one,
four?
correct?
Yes, Volume 1. Who were the four? I know
Sorry,
Arthur was there.
Medusa. Medusa is there. Yes, Medusa
Medusa
is there.
was there, right? So
Yeah.
this is the next base quote unquote game, right? So it's volume 2.
Yeah.
I see the Monkey King, Bloody Mary, that might
Mm.
be Leonidas and
Achilles,
Achilles,
and
okay. And
I
some I know
cannot
this is
read.
an African princess, warrior princess. I forgot her name,
Yeah,
but I know these are the four that are gonna be in the
that's great.
Unmatched Volume 2. Looks
Mhm,
great. I know a lot of people are waiting for this one because Unmatched
mhm,
has quietly been building up a following. They have nice
mhm,
expansions with Bruce Lee, with
mhm,
recently Danielin unboxed Robin Hood and Bigfoot. There was
mhm,
also Little Red Riding Hood and Beowulf. Then there's the Cobble and Fog. And they have a Marvel expansion with the Defenders and Daredevil and
mhm.
Deadpool. So I
Definitely
think this is gonna
unmatched
be something.
is what I my opinion on it is like it's like the pandemic system what they're trying to
Mhm.
release now. So there's
Yeah,
an
they also have
unmatched
Buffy.
system. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so there. So you have your unmatched system as well that can work with different IPs, right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
and it's good
definitely this will go long.
that they're touching over other IPs or other stories that are not mainstream, like Monkey King. I know it's Asian, and Asian knows about the Monkey King, but
Mm-hmm.
the West doesn't know. The Bloody Mary is also there. This is
Mm-hmm.
good. It's a place where people can just place in all their stories and their ideas, and let's see who's gonna win. Right,
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole concept of Unmatched. All right, so that
All right.
goes for our other board gaming news. Right now we're gonna be turning you over to Ron for our
All right.
crowdfunding roundup. And
Round
first
up.
up, first
Okay.
up.
What is first up? All right. So okay. So the first game is Rat Queens. Um, it's basically based on a comic right now. So I know the comic is in hiatus right now, but it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a cooperative game. So it's a co-op. Um, there. basically working together as a group to defeat something, right? So Rat Queens is successfully funded already. So if you're
Oh,
looking into
okay.
that,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're looking for another co-op to add to your board game selection, so this is one of the new ones that will be coming out. I haven't really seen a lot of co-op games being released recently. So
It's more solo
um,
because people are more
yeah,
isolated.
I
So
guess people are more isolated. And the beauty of a co-op game is that sometimes it can be played smoothly with solo rules.
mm-hmm.
So I guess that's also why a cooperative game has been released recently. So that's a good angle to it. Solo games have been proliferating. Actually, the roll and rights,
Yeah.
yeah, have also been really been successful in the market. So we have to look into this system, this environment wherein gamers game in order to really appreciate the release of the new games that are coming out right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So this is coming
Okay.
from the comics, right? Cool, cool.
Yes. So these are all from Kickstarter.
Yeah.
To note, right? Okay.
Crowdfunding
So
sources. All right. And our
right.
next,
So our next one is all right.
play it,
So
play it, play it,
here we go. All right. So
play
that
it, play it.
there. So we have Bantam West. So Bantam West is set is Western.
Yes.
It's one of those sandbox games. When we
Kind
say
of like
sandbox,
Western Legends.
yes, a little bit like Western Legends. Yes.
Cool, cool.
So how you play Bantam West is you play as one of the characters, and you are given at the beginning of a game a set of objectives. So it's basically a race for you to finish all of your checklist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an action point allocation kind of game. So you're given, I
Okay.
think, 4 actions for your turn, and it's basically up to you how you want to spend all those actions. There's a ton of things you can do in Bantam West, from burning another player's cottage to going to the saloon and having bar fights.
Okay.
It's a sandbox kind of game. So
Mm-hmm.
um, the limit of what you can do is basically your imagination. So what's great is that it's a race game. So the length of the game will be highly dependent on the players themselves, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if one wants to rush through the game, that's possible. But if everybody just wants to uncover a lot of stuff, that's also up to you. So that's Bantam West
Right.
from Kickstarter.
It and they were saying it's like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I
And
get.
when we first saw this, we thought
Mhm.
this is not a board game because the whole trailer
Yeah, so
looks like it.
the trailer is reminiscent of a video game. You're
Right.
not aware that it's going to be a board game, but yes. So yes, that's Bantam West from Kickstarter.
All right.
Also,
Eh,
I think from
okay, go on,
also,
go on.
let me double check. Um,
So, if you're
yeah.
interested in this type of games, sandbox western theme, July 13th. It's
Yeah.
today. It's today. It starts today. All right. And
Starts.
for our
Uh,
final news, or you have something else to add?
yeah. That's it. Let's move on to
All
the
right.
next.
And for our final news, Assassin's Creed
Right.
Valhalla
Yes.
or
So
Log
fans of
dice
Assassin's
game.
Creed, most recent expansion, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
version. So the Assassin's Creed
Version.
Valhalla introduces a dice game within the video game. So
What? Again, again?
yes, so this actual dice game has been introduced inside the world of Assassin's
Okay.
Creed Valhalla. So it's
All
very
right.
s- so it's simply like if you guys okay, so age will show. Kung naglaro kayo ng Suikoden 2, it's like Chichichorin, whatever, that dice game. So it's similar to what Assassin's Creed Valhalla did, but it was the game itself was interesting enough for it to be produced as a physical game, right? So it's a one-on-one dice game wherein um, you attack the life point. So each player has HP, and you roll the dice, and then your dice basically attacks or defend. Each player has 3 turns to get the dice what they want. On the third roll, whatever shows becomes part of your
Mm-hmm.
um, turn,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. Whoever survives the longest wins the game.
It's amazing. They're
So
pulling a game out of a video game and putting it in Kickstarter. Is it funded?
yes, I think it was released yesterday. I think it is funded. It is already funded.
That
Yeah.
shows either it's a
Hmm.
really good Kickstarter or there are a lot of fans of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. And
So,
also, if you're interested to get the deluxe version, so the deluxe version comes in a wooden box. The
okay,
yeah,
okay.
the deluxe version has yeah, the custom wooden box, metal coins, metal god tiles, something like that, and then special dice. So
Mm-hmm.
that's it. So
Custom time.
basically, yeah, it's successful enough to be funded.
All right. Cool, cool,
Right.
cool. So those are the news. Thank you, Ron, for reporting on our crowdfunding roundup. And those were the news that are for the first part of July. And you can tune in again 2 weeks from now, Wednesday at 8 p.m. for the
Mm-hmm.
news for the second half of July. And hopefully, Jake will be better and Jake will be with us so
Get
that it
well.
makes three. Something's missing if he's not here, right? It's like, what? There's a
Yes.
third voice that's missing. But we hope Jake will get better. And if you have news that you would like us to report or to mention, you can
Yeah.
post it on the Variable Play page, and we can check it out, or you can personally send it to us in our
Yeah.
if you're a
Message us if
friend.
you find anything
Any news that you
interesting
want us
enough.
to report,
Yep.
right? So that was our news, and we hope that keep on gaming, and everyone stay safe. And until then, on behalf of Jake, this is Denmark,
Ron.
and until then, bye everybody.
Bye.